Is. There it is. Now that's better. All right. That's better. I don't understand what was going on here, what happened. I apologize for that. I have no idea why that decided to pop off like that and what was going on. So let me get going on here. Welcome. I want to welcome y'all to the Fans Point of View podcast with your host, the most unknown known podcast there is about there, Truckin Chubbzy. Let's go. So I want to start off today by talking about the NCAA writing, not accepting the letter from Florida State University. All right, they're not accepting it. They didn't accept the subpoena. They totally denied the subpoena, and I want to talk about that a little bit. With a lot of sports fans or two sports fans, however it goes, or whether you catch this on a replay or whether you catching it live. You know what I mean? This is important. So obviously everyone knows that they sent the letter out that they've been disputing this and it's part of an investigation of why things didn't happen. First off, I want to say that I think it's total BS what's going on. A lot of people keep saying you're getting mismatched bowls and whatever else is going on in football right now, and you can see that it is a mismatch. That they're playing teams are playing against each other, and there's a lot of blowouts in these bowl games. It make no sense. Why is it a blowout? You see a team like, for instance, let's say Tulane earlier tonight playing a 6-6 West Virginia team and Virginia Tech team. Sorry, not West Virginia. Virginia Tech team 6-6 in the ACC, and they blow a top American Athletic Conference team out of the water. Absolute blew them out of the water. There's nothing. There's nothing else to discuss with that at all. Nothing else to discuss with that. Blew them straight out of the water, hands down. Um, and the ACC still doesn't get any respect as far as a Florida State Seminoles team going undefeated and not make it into the college football playoff, not having the chance to play for a national championship is total bullshit to me for the simple fact they went undefeated in the ACC. You're seeing a lot of ACC teams give up pretty good fights in these bowl games, and you're seeing how well these defenses are in the ACC. And now but yet and still someone who goes undefeated through that conference does not have the chance to play for a national title is crazy to me. If you got to pick four teams in there, then you got to put the team who beat Bama in there. Georgia, Georgia. It sounds crazy, but fair is fair. Georgia losing to Alabama in the SEC championship, and Alabama being ranked number 8 at that present time, you have to leave both SEC teams out of the college football playoff. No, that wasn't going to happen, but I'm losing to a number 8 team and being number 1 if you wasn't going to put Georgia at number 4 and put Florida in there at number 3 and Washington at number 2, then you got to leave both teams out in that scenario. And I just didn't think that it fit the college football playoffs committee's plans with leaving a SEC team out of it. But you need to put some respect on the ACC because they're absolutely balling out. We'll see what happens tonight with North Carolina and West Virginia and how that game turns around and see what happens with that game. But you got to put some respect on the ACC. They're absolutely balling out, and they're showing how well they really are in that division because when they're playing teams outside of that conference, they're dominating them. They're dominating them. You can argue Syracuse getting blown out by USF. However, I think that USF, the head coach, did a fantastic job. I believe his name was I don't want to get it wrong, but I think he did a fantastic job with that organization. Seeing they were a 1-11 team last year, he brought them within 6-6 into a bowl game, and they beat the dog. They took Syracuse to the woodshed, beat the snot out of them. You know what I mean? And then you also having seeing other teams around the ACC play and win. I believe the ACC, or I'm hoping they probably would have went undefeated in all of their bowl games had it not been for Clemson playing within a division. I believe no, Clemson's playing Kentucky, North Carolina's playing who's North Carolina State playing? The Wolfpack. I believe they're playing Kansas, but they're not going to take many L's. They're not going to take many L's, and I can tell y'all that right now that the ACC is not going to take many L's out there in these bowl games, and that's going to just further help the argument of why Florida State being undefeated in the ACC should have been in the college football playoff. Now, the mismatch in these bowl games, you can say that these bowl games don't mean nothing, but I believe that this is where a lot of us spoiled college football fans is where we're getting at with this is the fact that you're seeing a lot of these teams play against each other in these bowl games that y'all saying that are meaningless. This is why adding more teams to a playoff system will make bowl games that are not relevant, unquote, you know what I'm saying, more playing for something better. You know what I mean? You're only taking 12 of them and making those there, but pretty soon 12 won't be enough for us. And I think it goes with that same saying that people are saying this a meaningless bowl game. Stop calling meaning bowl games meaningless, and then maybe people will pay more attention to those. But I think they need to do a better job with the matchups because they're just getting blown out the water. I heard a fellow content creator of mine out there, respect him very well, Coach Hayes. He was saying that, and I understood that a whole lot. That group of five should have their own bracket and Power Five should have their own bracket because what's happening is these teams is just getting blown out the water, man. Like, I mean, let's just be honest here. They couldn't hang with a 6-6 Virginia Tech team that really couldn't they couldn't do anything in the ACC. And yet and still they just and Tulane's 11-2 and they just beat them all up and down the field. And it was just crazy. Old school power football just shows you how soft the sport has gotten because they ran the ball, bullied them up front on the line. Tulane's been one of the better run defenses the whole entire season, and yet it did not show in a bowl game. Once again, that just goes to the argument that the ACC it needs more respect around college football. That Florida State should have been in there undefeated because they're in the ACC. And I've heard people once again. I heard people say, "Well, pick your four." My four, honestly, would have had been you would have had to keep both SEC teams out. By Alabama being number 8 and on beating Georgia, if Georgia was not going to be number 4 at that point and they were going to be out, then leave them out. Both teams are out. They were playing spoiler. To me, that's how I think that should have went. Now I want to get up into a little bit of the politics in the sports now. What the topic was for tonight is politics being into sports, ruining talent and local talent being overlooked constantly. I don't know why a lot of schools are letting their local talent go out of state. And it brings you in the mind and it puts you in a state of mind when this happens, right? Like back in the day, and I know it's back in the day, but playing for your home state college means a lot. It used to mean a whole lot when you wanted to play for your college from your state, from the city you were in, and that college, when you played for that state, that meant a whole lot. And some traditions, some people are very traditional, and a lot of players do want to play for their home state, their state home state colleges first before they're going anywhere else. That's a fact. I think that needs to go back into a book or something. You know what I mean? I don't think that they should make it mandatory, but I do believe that these colleges should recruit local talent hard, hard, very hard. Because it means something when you're playing for a college from what city you grew up in or that state you grew up in. It gives you that extra push, whether you were a quote unquote 3-star, 4-star, 2-star athlete. You playing at the college makes you want to be better, makes you want to develop it better and go way harder. Um, it's just a fact, right? It's just something that we all know. But for some reason, the politics get in the way of that. Like I said earlier, whether it's people not having the resources to get in certain doors, not knowing people, not having the money to be a donor or an alumni at said high school, because that goes into play even at the high school level, whether we want to believe that or not. But then you have those same people who feel like that, they get mad when a high school athlete is so good that he starts getting paid for his name, image, and likeness in high school. But that probably would be the same person who is paying for their child or their niece, nephew, whoever, and putting money towards their school as in high school alumni. Those are the same kind of people that get mad when high school kids make money off their name, image, and likeness. And we're supposed to say that we leave the politics out of this, but we don't. We don't. It affects a lot of talent locally being able to go to their schools, and why schools always want to go outside and go and get other talent from way across the country is beyond me. But I would like to hear people's thoughts on what do you think about the schools not these colleges not grabbing up all their local talent or the best of their local talent, and how do you feel about the politics being in football period, sports period? They need to go, but they're there. If there's a biasness there, there is a biasness that's there and that's surrounded this sport. I got on here earlier and I was talking about how the commissioner of the NFL, as y'all know, is Roger Goodell. He's from a small town called Jamestown, New York. Back roads of 86, right off of 90 on your way to Buffalo. You go 86, you'll make it to Jamestown, New York, where he was born and raised at. They have one high school in Jamestown High School. There's one high school. Mind you, all those kids go to one high school. Population ain't that big, maybe 40, 50,000 people. But however, all of the kids that played Pee Wee football against each other, once they get to that in middle school ball against each other, once they get to the high school, it's one high school. So much talent is there. Trust me, I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not going off in no opinions. I've seen this firsthand happen to a multitude of students not make it to the next level. And this is why I wanted to bring up this topic, because I'm speaking from my own experience on this topic. Now, I've seen a lot of kids get picked, and I've seen some kids make it, and I've seen kids that didn't deserve trophies or MVPs get trophies and MVPs. Okay. And I'm not speaking bias when I'm speaking on the situation that I went through personally with a family member that led the team in tackles by 50 tackles by far. Yet the kid who parents were doctors and gave a substantial amount of money to that high school, their kid got MVP of the football team, and that shouldn't have happened. You know, my family member was by far the best defensive player in the entire 6A division of which Jamestown, New York high school football is played. And he didn't wind up getting an MVP. And yes, it upset me, but there was nothing that we could do about it. The politics came into play. He had one Division I offer that was University of Buffalo. He was to be redshirted and to be Khalil Mack's roommate. That shouldn't have been the only Division I offer he got. He got in a lot of others. I guess it was like Brown University. However, nobody really knew about him. He wasn't ranked, nor did we have know about the resources to make him ranked, film, and everything else. Now, Another example, there was a quarterback, uh, my best friend, his little brother. He played quarterback up there. Great, awesome. He played with Stephen Carlson. He's bouncing around the NFL right now. He went to Brown University. He was the start receiver there. He caught plenties of touchdowns from Holland, from Cookie Holland. He didn't wind up getting the best of opportunities because of the failed pipeline. I don't know if it's the athletic director's fault, or if I don't know if it's more or less of the colleges in that area, like University of Buffalo or Pittsburgh, whatever, not doing their due diligence on Western New York and Western Pennsylvania players. However, I do have to say that that falls on the athletic director at that said school, because they made sure that Stephen Carlson got to where he was going at, but everybody else who made the team around him did not get the same offers. They were getting offers from Division II schools, looking at them like, what do you mean? Like, these kids are great. They're all great. Mind you, this is all they do. This is all they have to do is eat, shit, sleep, breathe football all year round. This is all these kids have to do. There's one high school in the town. I've seen them play all the way up. I've seen it with my own eyes. However, didn't get the opportunities. Another kid, beast, absolute beast, monster, tackles, sacks, couldn't block them, unblockable in the 6A division. This is the best division in Western New York. Absolutely runs through it. The best offer he get is from Brockton University. I bet some people's like, where's Brockton University? I don't know. No Ohio State, no Michigan, none of that. Another example, another kid, family member, close family member of mine, the best quarterback you probably ever seen. There's a school that's looking at him right now, all the way from Florida. He didn't get the best opportunities. He's played quarterback, running back, and for them all these years, they get up on a high school level and they want to turn another kid into a quarterback who doesn't have half the skill. He was a game manager, but he wasn't a game changer as this other quarterback was or would have been. Didn't get the offers, the opportunities, wind up going to another high school in that area and getting some offers. But however, all this talent, and all I'm saying is that they're letting politics come into play. These athletic directors at these high schools can be bought. They can be persuaded with money and other things, and blocking these kids from getting the best opportunities at the best schools. It's the truth. But yet and still, there's a lot of people out there who's mad when these kids get paid off their name, image, and likeness, and they're getting the shine and everything. But it's not. It's no. It's not It's not fair at all. But it's happening all over the U.S. and nobody wants to talk about it. I see a million people talking about. We talk about Colorado football. We talk about all these other colleges and sports where these kids come from high schools and they have to get ranked by either like a On3 or 24/7 Sports. But their athletic directors are failing them, or is it like I said, the college is not heavily recruiting their areas? But even still, there's kids that's right now and that's in you can even say Colorado. Look at Colorado, for instance. Okay, that's a school that everybody knows and that everybody likes, right? There's talent up there right now. There's hella talent that's in that state right now that's probably not being recruited by either university. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But I do see I hate to say it, but I've seen CSU, the state university, grab up a couple of local kids, and but they're not doing that. And I don't understand why you're letting your in-state talent leave the state first. And that goes for a lot of people. This is what made all the Florida schools dominant, all the Texas schools dominant, all the Cali schools dominant at one point in time, is because they did not let their local talent go outside of the state. Keep your local talent, try to keep it there, because you're giving opportunities to kids who might not have the opportunity to play otherwise. But yet and still, and I'll keep saying it, we're letting politics come into sports. These athletic directors at these high schools are being bought. They're being persuaded with alumni's money, with rich parents' money. Put my kid in the game. Here you go. What does he need? Does the team need visors? Does the team need a bus or whatever else they can be bought with to let a kid play above a kid that they knew that shouldn't play, but yet he don't get evaluated the right way. But let's say 24/7 or on three could be looking at that particular high school, never see the other kid play at all, might not come back because you know what I mean? They went there to see one kid, but the kid that should have seen didn't play that game because they were persuaded out of a position. True story. And I'm speaking from experience. Once again, it's a true story. My cousin played middle linebacker for the same Jamestown High School. Played middle linebacker the whole season. They go to the state during the state playoffs at this point. They're whooping everybody. For some reason, they wanted to put him at the defensive end when they're playing Canisius, the best running back in 6A at the time. It was years ago, but he was tearing the fucking league up. They shut him down the first time. He played middle linebacker, of course. They moved him to defensive end. There was a referee's kid. He refereed that whole area for years and years. His kid was a sophomore. They put him at middle linebacker because there was a scout from a D1 college that was at that game, and they wanted to get this kid to look. Now, I don't want to go and say that it was racism because that's the last thing I want to think of. I just want to think of the way that this referee was well known. He persuaded the athletic director and the head coach to get his kid to play middle linebacker. However, the defense led off of my family member being a middle linebacker. He wound up missing that look, and it didn't hinder him or anything. I don't want to say, but the thing was, the team lost that game because that sophomore shouldn't have been that middle linebacker. He couldn't tackle the guy, was running all over him, and they completely took their best player, their leader, their quarterback of the defense, and they put him out of the game. Why would you take your quarterback and put him at the end and have him trying to rush? They just ran away from him the whole game. They ran away from him the whole entire game. Every time they ran, they tried to run on that side. When he was at defensive end, he stopped it, of course. But then they started, sending 2 and 3 people to block him, but he's chasing the play from behind every single time. You know what I mean? It was sickening to watch, and you ask yourself, why did they do that? It's happening to kids every single day around our country. They're like, and I spoke on him earlier. For y'all who just joining me, I want y'all input on this, on what y'all think and everything. So don't be shy. But there's a kid by the name of Cameron Lindsay, the Pitt from Aliquippa. Aliquippa is not known for one of the greatest areas when it's hot, but football, they love football season. It comes down there. They respect the kids and the opportunity, the future they're getting. He is ranked at a 3-star in like 24/7 sports and like in on three. They got him ranked out like a 3-star. He's committed to Pitt right now. He's way better than that. 6'2", I think he's 6'2", 200 pounds, fast as ever, athletic as ever. Covers he can cover sideline to sideline. He can cover defensively like you pass. He can cover the pass. He fills the gaps like, man. I don't want to compare him to anybody, but himself. He fills the gaps like none other. One of the best linebackers I've seen coming out of high school right now, and they got him ranked as a 3-star only because of the little bit of buzz that he has in this Western Pennsylvania area. Now, I call that lazy recruiting and lazy due diligence coming from On 3 and 24/7 Sports. Yes, I am calling them lazy, and I hope that they can hear me call them lazy because it is lazy of them to give Cameron Lindsay, that committed to Pitt, a 3-star. It's not a 3-star. He's not a 3-star. He is very much in everything of a 5-star talent linebacker. But the area he's in, because it's not desirable, and they're afraid to come up there to do the reporting on Aliquippa the proper way, they give him a lazy rating. Oh, we heard he's good. We'll give him 3 stars and give him an 88. Like what? Like, come on, man. Like, but it's happening everywhere, y'all. It is, and it's sickening. And when I do this, I like to be different. I like to give bold statements, and I like to help people out, and I try to give others a voice in this situation because there's so many kids that's out here right now that will not get the opportunity. Thank goodness for the way this portal is going, because I believe now these kids will get a better shot because of the portal being the way it is. People being able to go in a portal and build teams and grab pieces out and transfer schools, and they're not getting as much as high school students as they used to. And I'm gonna explain why the portal is helping them. You might say, well, they're only getting 20% high school kids. How could that be helping them, Truckin Chubby? How could I help them, Chubby? Well, I'm gonna explain this to you. By them not getting as many high school students, now these talents can go to a higher division school than what a ranking didn't get them, because somebody was doing their lazy recruiting job and didn't give them the proper rankings. Now they can go to a higher Division 2 school. They can go to a Division 1 school who perhaps could not grab, did not know or couldn't grab everything they needed, and said, you know what, there's still this kid out here. Let me offer him a scholarship. Now they're getting these chances, perhaps, you know what I'm saying? Because it leaves the door open for a lot of these Division 2 schools now to bring in a lot of 3-star, 2-star, or however you want to put it, a lot of this talent out here. Because stars don't matter to me. It really does not matter to me. It doesn't. Unless you got an attitude like Travis Hunter, like I said earlier, a nice, humble spirit, young man, great attitude and everything, such as Cameron Lindsay has. He's from a area that has high violent is violence everywhere, all the way around him. He could be in a lot of things, and he's just not into a lot of that stuff. He's doing everything he needs to do to stay out of that, staying focused, maintaining his sports, and has a great attitude. All right, so now that's why that's going to help a lot of these students get the opportunities that they normally wouldn't have there before. All right, but yet, and I must keep saying it, we're letting politics come into the sports, and it's happening everywhere. You see it happening at the college level with the NCAA, the way that they run their committees, the way that high school athletic directors are bought out, and they're not giving film of a student to the proper schools. How you have one high school in one town, and I'm sure that Jamestown's high school is not the only one that does this, but the proper recruiting doesn't happen because the lazy job of these athletic directors. And I'm calling all of them out because I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's right that a lot of these students get overlooked and they're busting their tails to try to get their best opportunities. All right. Um, but I do think, and I'm not gonna be on here too long because I did my half an hour. And but before I get on up out of here, I do want to say one more time that I think that's the problem with the Florida schools. I don't understand. I don't know why a lot of kids from Florida want to go and play outside of Florida. I understand they might want to get out of their city because the allure of being a celebrity there and getting into things because you're home. I understand that part of it. And if you know that you might get sucked into some things being home, then yes, by all means, get away and make that best decision for your future. But I do think that a lot of these colleges, universities are dropping the ball when it comes to that. And I think it's a shame that they do that they overlook a lot of that talent. And that's pretty much all I wanted to get into, was to talk about that, and maybe a little bit about CU. I can't leave without talking about CU. So Colorado went out and they grabbed some more players on offense. I've seen a lot of people talk about Colorado and how uh for instance, Colorado, what they may need and what they want. And I've seen everywhere between they want Dylan Edwards to play wide receiver. And I think he should be playing a little slot, by the way. I do think Dylan Edwards could play a little slot for the Buffaloes. But a lot of people want to go into the portal. My opinion, and I'm gonna say it just as this clear, and I'm gonna give my opinion on it, and I probably will give my opinion again live. But let the team be the way the team is. Um, don't switch up too much on that team. You gotta have the hunger. Some of the guys who went 4-8 on that team know the national embarrassment that they felt. A lot of these guys coming in don't understand how that felt to them being in Colorado and being 4-8. So leaving some guys, enough guys on that 4-8 team there to be leaders and to let these newer players come in and to be able to tell them we got embarrassed and I don't want to feel like that no more. Getting paid, a lot of players, just mercenaries coming in. I don't think that that's good because they don't understand that hunger and that fight for that. I'm not too excited about that, and I don't want a lot of those players to leave because I think a lot of those players were actually really good. I honestly think a lot of those players are really good, and for a lot of people who say they believe, you want a whole new team. So, do you really believe, or do you want a new team? And that's all I gotta say, y'all. I appreciate the love I'm getting out there. Keep on supporting me, keep watching me. Go deep digger into the archives. I have some very good content out there. Trying to drop some more lives, get some live streaming going on. I'll be hitting y'all in the head with videos periodically, so you always have that notification bell on because you never know when you go and get a Truckin Chubby video. All right. And this ain't your coaches and pros, your X's and O's. It's the fans' point of view and what I know.